Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. And today we are finishing up with the book that is in the title of the podcast or the YouTube video, wherever you're finding yourself at the time. Where did I read it? I don't even remember where I... Getting things, I don't know. I may actually, no, not gonna have to look that up. I am not gonna have to do so because I'ma find it. It is How to Think More Effectively by the School of Life. The last time I've actually also indeed had a look at, there we go, another version by the 4-minute book summaries, or actually 4minutebooks.com as far as I remember. Very short summaries of still pretty amazing books, and also pretty useful if you're trying to figure out whether you want to read a book or not, if you want to invest the time into reading one, because it takes some time. And if midway through you kind of think and believe and come to the conclusion that you really do not care about it, then it is definitely a bit of wasted time. We went through quite a bit of it, and we stopped at listening and friends. The presence of another mind helps in our attempts to know our own minds. We need someone who will say 2 magic words. Go on. You mention a sibling and they want to know more. What was the relationship like in childhood? How has it changed over time? They are curious when your concerns and excitements come from. They ask things like, why did that particularly bother you? Why was this such a big thing for you? They keep our histories in mind. They might refer back to something we said before, and we feel they are building up a deeper base of engagement. They help us concentrate on what we are really thinking about and or talking about. They clear up underlying issues. They don't see conversation as the swapping of anecdotes. A good listener does not follow every subplot that the speaker introduces, for they may be getting further from their own point than they would themselves wish. The good listener is helpfully suspicious, knowing that their purpose is to focus the fundamental themes of the speaker rather than following every tangent. They don't interrupt to intrude their own ideas. They interrupt to help others get back to their original, more sincere yet elusive concerns. Which is a pretty great metaphor, quote unquote, or whatever you want to call it, for just being a better listener, for trying to, it's actually about making it about the other person. It's not about you, it is not about your ideas, it's not even necessarily about the conversation itself. It is about trying to give the other person as much time to speak as they possibly can have, so that they're actually, or probably, feeling better about themselves. Okay, what is the point? You said this and that, so what do you really mean? Asking questions and being really curious and genuinely interested in what the other person is trying to say and or saying, or who the other person is. A good listener does not follow every subplot. Oh, I've seen it. To be a good listener, try not to interrupt the other person, to insert your own experience into the story, direct them towards a more emotional layer. When things get vague or unclear, ask, what do you mean by that exactly? And they'll know and understand that you're indeed fucking listening. That you're not one of so many people that just, they nod and they say yes and whatever, but they do not really listen. They do not really give a shit about whatever the fuck you're saying. They're just, maybe trying to get things done. They're maybe trying to, to start talking themselves. Okay, just, please move on further. Please just, go on and then talk whatever the fuck you're willing to talk about, because I want to talk now. I want to say something now, which I do understand. I really do. We all like to talk about ourselves and whatever the fuck we want to talk about. But on the other hand, it makes the other person feel incredible. And probably you as well incredible if somebody's dealing with things, or the conversation, so to speak, in the same way as described here in the book. It helps to encounter a more forgiving kindly, receptive person who can hear you in your suffering and make you feel less alone. By letting your companion talk about what feels embarrassing or regrettable, you will be diminishing their sense of isolation. Reading provides us with the chance to unearth and put into focus what we happen to think. It is through contact with the books of others that we might come to a clearer sense of our perspectives and ideas. The words of someone else can powerfully draw out our disjointed notions. Contact with another's intelligence can bring clarity to our own thoughts. Very often, and this is why having conversations and why getting a bit of air in, having a conversation, dealing with other people, talking to other people, and being in contact with other people is so incredibly important. Not only just to stay sane, but also to develop. We can learn so much from each and another, especially when it is people that we are looking up to, people that people that might be dealing with certain things in a certain way. That is very inspiring. Or if it is just, somebody, if it is a sibling, a brother, a sister, whoever it might be, we can learn so much from everyone, from so many people. Something to think about, something to keep in mind, and something to, to try not to forget, Of course, throughout the years, I have said so many things. And throughout the years up to now, I've also forgotten so many things. It's insane. I actually gotta have to Google something. Really gotta have to do so. Anyway. Reading provides us with the chance to unearth and put into focus what we happen to think. It is through contact with books of others. I did not say anything about this. Reading provides us with the chance to unearth and put into focus what we happen to think. Books are great. Books are other people's thoughts. And you can indulge them. You can see their thoughts. You can think their thoughts and, maybe you can do something with them. Maybe you can't, but maybe you can. Even before we reach the specific content of a book, a basic benefit of happening upon a title that covers a topic we are interested in is that its existence provides an implicit endorsement of the thinking task ahead of us. In daily life, the people in our vicinity often don't want to reflect on exactly what concerns us at a given time. A topic we are curious about might be covered in just a few minutes at the table, or dismissed as too complicated even to approach. But when we find a book on a subject we care about but are lonely with, we have evidence of an extraordinary commitment made by a serious stranger, which bolsters our sense of the legitimacy of the thinking challenge we face. We are encouraged to start our own brains by evidence of the developed thoughts of another person. We are so much the poorer if all we can do is agree with the books we read. Bad books can be just as effective as the good ones. They allow us to imagine our own superior versions of what we are thinking in. What we are taking in. Yeah, totally the case. Having your own opinion and not always running with the flow or swimming with the flow and being part of the flow is very important. Some people don't have that. For whatever reason, there might be some psychological phenomenon that is leading to that. I don't know of any of these, but might be the case. Probably is. Envy could play a key role in alerting us to what we genuinely want. Eczema and envy. Each person we envy is a piece of our future. We envy certain individuals in their entirety, when, if we took a moment to analyze their lives, we would realize that it was only a small part of what they have or had done that really resonates with us. A very, very, very fucking small part. Maybe it is them being good in a certain field you're not good at. And that is fucking quite it. Probably they have very many facets of themselves of their personality that you're really not resonating with, and you're actually really happy that you're not having them, or you're not them. You're having just, not these characteristics, those personality characteristics. Maybe also when it is about looks. I mean, so many things may be good about somebody else, but on the other hand, there are for sure so many things that you really, not necessarily hate about them, but do not really like about them. For each person you envy, ponder which of their positive assets you don't really want. Among the upsides, not all elements are going to appeal to you. Empathy. To enter the mind of another person is not to forget about oneself entirely. Use self-knowledge to penetrate the consciousness of another. We are never as foolish as we fail to suspect we might be so. Thinking well means trying to put in place measures that can mitigate for the worst of our tendencies or your tendencies. Make a case for the opposite point of view to the one you're initially and emotionally attracted to. Question your feelings. The skeptical person has learned to be careful. What they feel strongly about today might not be what they think next week. The skeptical person will suggest that an idea might not be quite right. Good and bad are entangled. Yes, indeed, it's about being careful. It's about maybe a skeptical person is skeptical because in the past they did make certain decisions that turned out not to be very smart, turned out to be actually pretty bad. And then for me, it just really makes sense that this person is skeptical, is trying to be a bit more conscious about whatever this person is doing, is trying to be a bit more, not trying to get themselves into some shit they don't want to be part of or they don't want to be stuck in. So yeah, with this being said, and also with this approaching and reaching the end of this episode, of this book summary, I wish you the best and hopefully see you soon. So, bye-bye.